Hey, we am live.
Yo,
What's going on, guys? It is the Sunday night Gundam Build Divers ReRise review and discussion like we always do. And as usual, that one is with me.
hello,
Yes,
RODIMUS13.
RoDIMUS13. Of course, go subscribe. Have you gained
Please,
any subscribers since we started doing this?
um, I want to say I've gained a couple subscribers. Whether or not it's connected to this, I have no clue. But I've been gaining a
Well,
steady trickle of subscribers.
so like totally not Marlon, Jerry Lil, and Jack of Blades and Plasmarks all need to go subscribe to you right now. See, Jerry did. I forgot. Jerry said. I think he said he subscribed last week.
I think I remember that.
I got How Timao. Hey, we got 7 people watching at the moment. Thomas Nguyen. All of a sudden, there were just like blah, like all at 8 o'clock, a whole bunch of messages all popped up. Oh, good God! It has been a long week, guys. I've delivered nearly 10,000 packages. Not an exaggeration. Nearly 10,000 packages in the last week, and I am tired. Luckily, I actually got to enjoy my weekend a little bit. Spend most of yesterday just relaxing or running around. There was no in between. And then today, basically just being at home and chilling. We got our Christmas decorations and everything up yesterday for the most part. There will be a video about the new tree topper, if you guys saw the post. So I did actually video that very brief thing, even the incident that happened while doing it.
Oh no.
Yes. So we'll see what happens. I have a lot of editing to do this week. I actually filmed a builder showcase Friday night, first one in a very long time, outside of Double October. Actually, that's a scary part. That was the first actual builder showcase all year long. So, but it was a good time. It's a very, very in-depth coverage of an amazing build, a guy that I discovered at a model maker's boom hut. It is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. So it's a very in-depth, a very long builder showcase. So when it comes out, hopefully next week, if I actually get it done in time, by all means, go check that out. And Jack of Blade says he'll never subscribe. Well, then,
that makes me sad.
Then get out. All right. So what's new with you before we get started?
Let's see. What is new with me? I actually went Christmas tree hunting yesterday, actually. We have a sort of farm / like small time theme park, basically, that has a Christmas tree farm. And we've been going there for the past few years. So basically go there and we actually cut down our own tree, or we get one of the local people there to cut the tree down for us because I'm not physically fit enough to do that. But it's really cool because we get to pick out the tree, cut it down, bring it out. And then they got like little playground stuff and other things for the kids to do. And we met up with a couple of my friends over there and their kids. So we got to hang out with them for a little bit.
Did you vlog it this year?
Yes, I did. I vlogged it last year too, if I remember correctly.
You did. That's how I knew what you were doing when you showed me the picture. I remember the Christmas tree vlog.
So that will probably come up in a week or two, I think. I think that may be like a Christmas week update or something like that.
That'd be cool. That would be a good time for that.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in Christmas week. This month is just going to be a big long blur for me. It's just going to be 5 days of crap and then a break, and then 5 days of crap and then a break, and then a couple days of crap, and then presents, and then more crap. So, and then New Year's. So
we get to make a day trip to Austin on Christmas Day.
That's fun.
Yeah,
I guess that's fun. I don't know. The midweek break for Christmas is so dumb.
Yeah, and I don't get any extra days off around it. I had to use it for other things, so
yeah,
no Christmas break for me other than Christmas Day.
Yeah, Miss Shoki has to go to work the next day too. Sucks. Well, but I don't know if I do. That's the problem. That's like the marking of my schedule changing. I think I might, because I still have days off, I might take those 2 days off. So just, Christmas,
Mm.
4-day weekend. Might be what I do. So, all right, guys, now that more people have joined in, we'll go ahead and talk about episode 10, or the ones who breathe there. That's an interesting name.
Title. Yeah.
Some of these title references are kind of weird, like the ones who breathe there. So I don't know if they just mean, I don't know what they're referencing in this particular thing. It's fine. But, we get the end of last episode, where we left off with the revelation that Mai is a L diver.
Yeah, and they spell it out pretty specifically this time, because before we could have maybe guessed like maybe she was piloting an L diver or something like that, but no, they basically say, nope, she's an L diver.
Well, we kind of covered that last week because we know we've seen her in the cockpit of the thing. And then when we showed the screenshot of Sarah piloting her Gunpla body, so we knew that she had to have something, and obviously we see her Mai doll. And yeah, you're right. The episode got really heavy. And guys, of course, spoiler warning for anybody who doesn't know or has not watched. Spoilers from here on out as we go over the entire episode. And also, if you are in the comments, don't jump ahead. We obviously go through these things as we go. Kazami becomes a furry. Shush. Kind of called that last. So like I said, we leave off literally where we left off, or we start off where we left off with Mai, literally like Iron Man stance against the Sam, which is awesome. And of course
she
we
looks
get
so freaking cool.
Yeah, and we get guitar intensifies along with the eyes glowing. I wrote it down. I actually wrote guitar intensifies. And so she like charges in, and it goes to, I think it went to go swing at her, and then she actually like kicks up at it and then blocks the weapon with her heel. I was like, what the heck?
Cool.
So all this time, like, she didn't really fight it last time. She was just sort of there. Like, she never really got involved with the actual fight, regardless of when it has attacked in the past. She's not really gotten involved. And this time, now that she's in her actual body, so to speak, she just charges in.
Yeah.
She's a lot faster. And then she does the backflipping away from it, the shots, which I made. If anybody got the reference that I made last week with why are you doing backflips? You can fly. If anyone got that reference last week, please let me know in the comments. And she pops back and she whips out her twin pistols and just starts shooting at it for whatever good that does. Why am I getting buzzing? Why are people buzzing me right now? The heels look like he's like a claw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I don't remember mobile dolls being cool. Sarah did nothing with hers in the actual episode. It just had like moonlight butterfly things. That was probably like her deglitching magic. But she used her pistols, and then she throws these like disky shield things. I don't know what the heck they were. They look like hockey pucks, and then they turn into glowy spinning shields.
If you look on her arms, she has these pouches that stick out. Those are beam shield generators, like what you see in like at the F-91, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And well, so I remember.
I think she takes those and throws them.
I figured they were beam shield generators, obviously. But I couldn't tell if maybe they were like shuriken and they were just spinning really fast, like we've seen before. I didn't want them to be referencing her as a ninja or anything like that, but you never know. And then she manages to slide in there and get the dang thing in a freaking headlock.
That was so cool. That
she gets it in. Yeah, and then the beam comes out the forearm. I like that. Just holding the beam to its neck is going to be a thing, but I guess if she takes the head out, it is what it is.
It all feels very feels very G Gundam.
Yeah.
Particularly what she does next.
What do you have written down that she does next? Oh, because I've got So we actually go into, because
she basically
okay. Well, let me go here first, and then so we see the pilot again, only for the second time. And you can see that he's got the armor on. He's got the 4 eyes and a couple horns, but he also has a lot of red hair. Kind of has a lot of resemblance to Ogre from before. So part of me wonders if maybe that's who he is, which would explain the overwhelming power and build skills.
I didn't even think about that. That would be interesting.
Yeah. So while she's got him in the headlock, she decides to ask him a question. And obviously the person they've been looking for the whole time, that, you know, the background mission that she's been doing for Maggie. And she asks him if he is Shido Masaki or Masaki Shido. And Pilot doesn't necessarily react, but you see the face a little bit. And then it cuts to this pink data person surrounded by dozens of screens. And at the same time, it pops up in the cab, a little message. So I'm guessing that's the person in charge.
Yeah.
So it must have just sent him an order, like, get out of there or something like that. But
GTFO.
GTFO. And this is where we finally see its arm actually extend the way that we normally do. So it does the unfolding thing and adds extra elbow room, basically. I love these, like, extends the arm, flips around so that he can actually grab her. And so she backflips off. And then it uses, I couldn't tell if it was the same cannon or a different one. It looked huge, and it, like, puts it down into the ice and then fires it.
I guess I interpret it as like he took the handle of, like, the javelin thing or something and slammed it down into the ice and then did something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it fires off a blast and just evaporates the ice and just fucks off. It just disappears. Like, it's not on radar or anything. Like, it just completely disappears.
So have we heard the name Masaki Shido before?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
All right, here. So forearm beam sabers, automatic win. Ogre was Jack. Seltsam Pilot seemed to have more of an average body type. But it's also wearing a full disguise. Who knows? Could be just fake hair for all we know. But, you know, we don't know who this person is. But given the fact of the reaction of the commander, you know, or the boss, the pink data person, because we can't even tell that it's necessarily a dude. Because there's no hair, there's no details, it's just a pink person. But basically, the name scared it away. And I love that they go into the cockpit of Core Gundam, and it's the exact same shot from last week of Hiruto and Freddy with their mouths wide open. Like, they didn't even change it; it's the same shot. And I thought that was hilarious. Like, just shocked.
They got to save that animation budget.
They do. And then it goes into the opening credits. But I wanted to bring up something here because we did get a good look at the mobile doll May. And since last week, images have come out. Now, I don't have any screenshots this week, but the images have come out of the supposed model kit. But they're all CG. They're all CG renders. But, you know, the swappable face gimmick, just like Sarah had, it has its mobile doll mode. It has the pistols, it's got arm shields and everything like that. But the main thing I saw was people complaining that it didn't have a ton of surface detail. But if you actually look at some of the shots here, like the fairly up-close shots of her in battle and standing post-battle, there isn't a ton of detail. Like, she's got the lines down her suit, and then she's got the spots where the armor has to break up.
Well, if you look at how she looked when they during her first appearance, where they basically sunk a lot of animation budget into it, they completely greebled her up with lots of surface detail in those initial shots, and then they smoothed it out for basically the more realistic, budget-friendly animation.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like they haven't done that before. I mean, last series was guilty of adding detail where there was none. You know, we need one epic shot, and then you get the reality of it after the fact. Like, but I don't know what kind of detail people are expecting there to be. I mean, the Sarah doll only had like a few little, and at least in her robot mode, had, you know, like, more detail, make it more robot looking, but for the most part, fairly simple detail wise. Hers is going to be even more streamlined because she is a fighter. It's only going to have the parts that
Mhm.
she needs. The Gundam based video already reviewed the mobile doll. May. How? It's not even out. How are they reviewing it? The hair looked pretty low poly compared to the hair on the Sarah doll. Yeah, very different. Well, their hair is also
Yeah.
like flat pieces. Like you can look at it, it's mostly just flat pieces. She's meant to be a fighter. Bulk is going to slow her down.
Yeah, she's meant to have, and even Sarah kind of had, very voluminous hair basically, while May
Yeah.
has flat hair. And since the robot hair is designed to reflect what they have in their human form, basically, and
Yeah,
of course, May's is going to be a little bit more like wings as opposed to armor or whatever you would call Sarah's.
Okay. Well, apparently they did a full review of it over on that channel, I guess. Gundam based did a whole review on it, which we'll have to look at, I guess.
Bandai's official site or something. I know they have a second YouTube channel.
We're talking about
outside of Gundam info.
I'm gonna look just real quick because I want to see.
And in case anyone's curious what I am building tonight, I am working on the V2 Core Gundam.
I'm seeing. Hey, look, there's your mobile doll, Sarah. I'm seeing Sarah reviews. Is it on YouTube, guys, or is it elsewhere? Gundam Base reviewed straight from Japan, Japanese YouTube channel.
So it may not necessarily show up. Do you think it's region locked?
No, it should still be able to search it. I'm just not seeing it. Maybe it's not spelled. Didn't they change the name or how it's spelled?
It's MAY, isn't it?
I thought for that one they actually changed the name of it.
People are saying Gundam Base Tokyo.
Searching. Just bring this to a grinding halt.
Some high intensity YouTubery here.
Okay. Got the channel.
Some people are saying it's spelled the Chinese way.
Okay, so there's.
I can hear that.
Yep. Must be nice to be able to literally get all the views because you're the only ones who have access to the thing. Bastards. Once again, I'm still not seeing a reason to complain. I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the lack of surface detail was a little bit of a meh thing, but overall, I think it looks really cool. It would have been nice if it had all the surface detail from the stupid expensive animation model, basically.
Yeah, basically. Okay. So, but yeah, I just saw a lot of people, and I'm like, there's no reason to complain. I'll watch the full thing later. I mean, it looks cool. That might be one I actually get because it's an interesting design. I wasn't interested in the Sarah doll. But either way, back to the episode and the villager slash. We're past the opening credits. That's how far we're in.
Yes.
So villager slash resistance get to the orbital elevator. Of course, they didn't know what it was necessarily. Kazami's bringing up the fact that it's an orbital elevator, and they start talking about the hidden bodies. Like, oh, so that's what was inside there. It always wondered. And then when you jumped in and I saw it explode, I was worried. And then Kazami apparently doesn't know or doesn't remember. He needs to be our expositional reason to explain again what an L-diver is, because we didn't cover that literally last episode.
Yeah, but Kazami doesn't quite get it, but Par is on it, though.
Yeah, but I like that he brought up, I guess, a data thing. Like, it's like, here's your how-to, so it literally covers everything. So it's sort of like a section on L-divers. These are L-divers. And then we get our Patrick cameo there.
Yeah, it's like
which,
Patrick is the one that wrote the paper, apparently.
or just whoever uses that. But remember, we've seen him also giving tips for other things. So we saw when Parr was researching building techniques, it was also a Patrick thing there showing that stuff. So Eric's here. Cool. Well, it must be nice to make it too. Yeah. Rizern. Yeah, you're not too late, buddy. We're barely into it realistically. And then this is where we get the bigger exposition dump that we were talking about before. We're like, have there been other Eldivers since then? And this is where we get the realization that since Sarah popped out, 87 Eldivers have been discovered and, well, they say recovered the same way.
I noticed that. I was like, I kind of put that in my notes. It's like recovered question mark. I felt that was some interesting wording on there. I don't know exactly what it means, but the fact that they phrased it that way just stood out to me.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense because they are recovering them, I guess, like you would recover data. But I don't think they mean, well, they might mean since they rebooted everything, they suddenly discovered there's a lot more and they saved them, so to speak, and they all have bodies. That's the other thing they didn't full on explain, but didn't not allude to. Basically saying that the same way that Sarah was given a Gunpla body to exist, the other 86, including Mai, were. So, and then this is how, and this is what I read wrong the first time, and I think I may have even commented this to you. I read that they're not allowed in to exist in normal life, but that is they are allowed. I misread it the first time. I was like, it seems leading to that. I thought it's like, wow, Mai is like faking her way through this, like has to hide that she's an Eldiver. No, they're actually allowed to be there. They're acknowledged as new real life forms. And Kazami even brings up, he's like, so wait, you're not human? And then Hiruto reacts like, like, are you? Like, I mean, like, if you knew what an Eldiver was at this point, why are you like freaking out? And she says, you know, my way of being differs from yours. And she talks about how she logs in from the real world the same way they do. But we saw last season that Sarah had like a little headset that she put on. So she has a little diving headset, or maybe it's built into her body. This is
adorable, by the way.
So, but unlike everyone else, she's piloting her own body as a Gunpla, which is really, really weird if you think about that whole brain bone mech thing. If you remember that meme.
Don't think about it too much.
Well, I mean, you know the meme I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
Where your brain, your brain is piloting a bone mech with flesh armor. So in this way, a little plastic person is digitally controlling a plastic robot version of themselves from inside the cockpit of that robot. It's freaking weird. But basically, you know, she talks about she has her own thoughts, she has her own free will, and all this thing like a real person, but she doesn't have necessarily real world knowledge or social experience, which we sort of covered in this. 87 is when they released Zeta, by the way. Who cares? Recovered equals captured and tortured. No, I don't believe that's what they're doing. Isn't that the number of Gundam frames in IBO? No, that's 72, as Ryan answered. How interesting would it be if Eldivers were second-class citizens? I think, well, you got to think about it. They were literally fighting for the rights for them to exist last season. So they had to, if they did it for Sarah, they would have to do it for all of them. So I don't believe them treating them as second-class citizens, but there's got to be people out there who look down on them as you're nothing more than an NPC, probably. We haven't seen that yet, but that might be what Mr. Pink Data Person is all about. As we've been discussing, that this entire world they're playing in may be a sanctuary for Eldivers that are maybe transformed into the puppy people. Yeah. And it's somebody who hates Eldivers who's trying to wipe them out very inefficiently, if we're honest. But I like the idea that you get the flashback of her birth into the real world, to life, and she sees Sarah there, and then we see Nami, we see Koichi, and then what's the other guy's name? I always forget it. You always mention it.
Is it? Because I looked it up before. It's like a Subasa or something like that.
I forgot. It's not Tsukasa. Or is it Tsukasa? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Either way, so the guys who created this entire system to work, they rescued May, and I like that. So that actually works. I dig that. And
it's nice to see the old characters show up again, even if it was just a non-speaking cameo. It was nice to see them. Sarah, in particular, was very cool to see.
Oh, I like Ryzern. He's like, "Oh, you stole my thoughts about the village of Divers." Dude, we've been literally talking about this day one. It's like Tsukasa, yes, that was his name. So I got it right. I remembered it after you got me there. But Hiruto wants to know why she saved him. And Par jumps in. Oh, it's because we're a team, and you wanted to make sure your teammate was. And she cuts him off. She's like, "No, I just really wanted to win." It's like, so her mission, because of what she's been dealing with, trying to hunt down this mysterious Mark III and the pilot that they're looking for, she saw an opportunity to jump in, get in close with her speed, and take him down. And if he hadn't basically knocked her off, essentially, and blow away his own escape, she might have had him. I don't know that she would have. She didn't necessarily do any damage, but she really had him in a compromising position. I think even with the others able to coordinate an attack, and that would not have functioned. Edgelord, no. Puppy Divers just reproduce faster than human ones. That's weird. Let's not go there. Let's not talk about digital puppy people doing things like that. But Kazami brings up a real good point after this. He says, "I'm surprised you didn't damage out." And then he said, "Yeah, none of us have damaged out throughout all of this."
Whereas, I had to stop and think for a moment when they said, like, "Oh yeah, none of them, that hasn't happened to any of them, at least when they went up against Sam."
Yeah, so throughout the missions, any mission that they've taken on in this, despite whatever damage they've taken, whether it's to the Gunpla or even to themselves, as we saw last week, they're not damaging out. They're not getting knocked out and falling out. And that's definitely something. But then he just quickly dismisses it as, "Oh, we're just playing it perfectly."
When he said that, I literally out loud was like, "I don't want to hear that from you, Kazami."
Exactly. Hey, what up, Alex? Definitely seems the ship trying to restrain him. Yeah, but you do have to take out his weapons and then keep him from leaving if you're going to restrain him. And she clearly was not strong enough on her own. I'd watch, but I haven't seen the episode yet. Well, go watch it and come back. That's funny. He pops into the spoilers. But yeah, he basically has that. Yeah, we're just playing it perfectly. Hey, remember when you were nearly destroyed 3 episodes ago? And then they're talking about the last mission. We're probably going to be in space, and they can finally go to do the space things. Yay, space elevator. But between now and then, exactly. But now we have to have the festival that we've been prepping for like 2 episodes. Let's see here. Now I want a Tieria Urda model doll with virtue armor. No. It would turn into Natalie. Core Gundams, yeah, stop getting ahead, Fakri. We're not there yet. It's usually Carl that's getting ahead. Don't get ahead on me. Discuss the points once we've made them. How about that? Because you guys know what's coming, so just don't get ahead.
Chill, everyone.
Just chill. And I like how they keep doing this part where they, to some degree, they seem to forget they're in a game, but then they re-reference that they're in a game. So he's like, "Why do we have to have this? We got to do this festival thing. We should just go straight into the battle." And then he's just like, "Well, usually they have an intermission between these huge things. Like you go shopping, or you have a festival, or you just puttering around for a couple of days until the next mission's ready." And he's like, "Oh yeah, it does this." Which just repeats.
And then they start talking about how everyone's all excited for the festival and stuff.
Yeah, and then they do that, and they're talking about, yeah, it's like, "Oh, we're so excited for the festival that's coming up." It's just weird. And they even mentioned the fact that the villagers are really looking forward to it and have been preparing for it, for a while, which of course we know. Sometimes I feel like these episodes are supposed to come in and you're supposed to forget that you saw the first 6 episodes and you only started like 3 ago. So one thing I liked about this episode is it did go back and cover a few things that we have done and gone through, and I like that. Side quests. Yes, there's a side quest. The chill quest, basically. But I love the fact that May doesn't know what a festival is. She goes, "What is a festival?"
Yeah, now that it's come out 100% that she is not human, they're amping up her acting not human a little bit more.
Her foreign, like it's like, it's one thing when you're just going into battles, you know how to fight, you know how to do all this stuff, but also she's investigating this world to see what's going on with it. She's learning more about human interaction, team interaction, and then to something she's never heard of is a festival.
Mm-hmm.
And so we jump back to real life. Hiruto gets home. His mom is cooking again, thank God.
Yeah.
So she's done with her.
Yeah,
exactly. So now dad has disappeared. Mom is back in the kitchen because that's the only way these people exist. Not everyone can be in the same room at the same time, except for like one partial episode where they all sit down and have a conversation for 2 seconds and then suddenly just back in the room to do more work after he gets a new idea.
It makes me think of like early CGI cartoons where they can only have so many characters in frame at one time, so somebody's always left out.
Yeah. And he goes into his room. You see the picture. He acknowledges that the bruise is on his head. Like, we see that. Of course, that was the other thing. And then we actually get a flashback to the second coalition battling over Sarah. And we actually see the big reveal as to what his deal with the build divers was. He was on Team Avalon. You see him. You printed the picture, you dork. Instead of getting a screen share. He's full on in Team Avalon uniform, and you actually see that he has the 00 Sky locked in for an attack at one point. Mm-hmm. So he was part of the other side. Even though he knew an L-diver who clearly disappeared for whatever reason, he joined Team Avalon and then fought against the build divers. Can we just say conflicted much?
Yeah.
I
mean, he doesn't look happy to be doing that, though.
No. I like this. Hiruto's mom really resembles Kati Maneki in a bit. I could see that. Wrong color hair, though, but I kind of get it. Does anyone... Okay, so Jerry was asking about that. Yeah, and Fakri was talking about Hinata, who does come in at this moment. And I want to bring something up in this particular chunk of this episode. So the music changes. Mm-hmm. We have this really nice evening lighting. In a lot of other anime, this would have turned into a romantic scene. Did you get that feeling at all? Like the way she comes in, the look on her face, the way she's talking to him. And I'm like, the whole time I'm like, okay, I know they're not going to go there, but this is really weird. It's starting to feel. And that's what he's saying is like, she was looking cute AF. And I'm like, for the most part, we've seen her school outfit, work outfit, gym outfit, and then here she's just in her street clothes or whatever. And yeah, they kind of cutened her up to a degree, but not like over sexualized. It was really weird.
Yeah, I mean, I overall was feeling sorry for her because it's like almost every time in the last few episodes she's been over, you can tell that she is there trying to help. She wants desperately to help him to basically bring back his smile or something like that. And he is still just shutting her out. And it's really sad to see.
Yeah, that is the thing. Like she's trying to reach out to a person she really deeply cares about and knows really well. And it's like, the music was, I'm not saying it was like romantic, sexual music, but like it was set up to be an intense emotional moment, whether that's a romantic moment or something. Like it could have also gone to the point, like, if he finally broke down, that could have also been like there's a turning point in this scene, as I'll discuss it here in a minute, that had he not put up the wall again, it would have broken down, and then the rest of that scene would have made sense the way they set it up. It looked like a dating sim. See, I'm not the only one who got it. And yeah, I said they're in their late teens. They're not like little kids, not like Riku and team were before. Yeah, they're not kids.
They're kind of playing with their expectations a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, they definitely changed things up. Like, even when Hinata came in, I'm like, wait, is that Hinata? Like, at first I had to like look at her in a different, literally they wanted you to look at her in a different light. And they weren't sexualizing her like they do in other anime, you know, tight suit, big boobs, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it was like very girl next door style. And in this case, it kind of is. Like, these two should be like a couple, not just estranged friends. And
she's the female childhood friend, which is kind of a trope in anime and Japanese entertainment.
Just in stories in general, yeah. And then if it was Disney, they end up together eventually to save the world, right? But she's asking about Eva. I forgot what she started the sentence out with, but then he doesn't really respond. He's just kind of, oh, you're here. And then she notices the bruise and touches it, and it's almost like he didn't realize he was bruised, which he might not have.
The question she was asking is like, what's that girl doing right now?
What's that girl doing right now? Well, I got that part, but there's something what she said when she walked in. There was an
Oh, okay.
But she does now, and he gets a move. Like, he doesn't want to talk about it. I forgot I didn't write down exactly what he says, but she says that he looks so lonely when he looks at that picture. And yeah, it's literally like, for him, it's that loss. So she asked, is she gone? And he's like, yes, she is. So now we've confirmed that she's definitely gone for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But his reaction to this is the weird part. And he said, this is nothing. It's just a record. You know, what I've gained, what I've lost, none of it. And then ends. Like, it doesn't finish that sentence. And I don't know if he says none of it matters anymore, which I'm guessing is what they're alluding to. Because now Hinata leaves, she's putting her shoes back on.
Yeah,
I like that they bother to show you she's putting her shoes back on to leave.
And whatever he said,
it affected her hard.
Yeah, she is upset. It's kind of a subtle thing, but you can tell she is very upset and shaken by whatever he said after what I've lost, none of it ...
Yeah. It said as data, not record. Well, either way, I'm going by the translation that I see. You know, it says data. I know that it didn't specifically. I know it didn't specifically mean record. I think but if he means that it's just data, that it doesn't matter. Okay, that makes sense.
That would be interesting.
But the translation, obviously, on our end says record. She got deleted before she could receive a mobile doll body. She probably got deleted before they knew they could do that. Or, as we're probably going to find out, she went to wherever they go before they get recovered. So it's entirely possible that, as we said as a likely scenario before, if they got deleted, do they go somewhere else? And it might come up later and some heavy foreshadowing later in this episode.
Knowing he's Team Avalon, I have one kind of dark thought about what could have happened. Do you want me to say that?
I don't care.
What if, because, you know, Team Avalon was, at least Champ in particular, was basically saying, okay, L-divers are dangerous. This one in particular we need to take down. What if, knowing what L-divers are, Kirito is somehow responsible for Eve disappearing?
To me, it seems more likely that she disappeared in some kind of thing. Like, somehow she just disappeared.
Okay.
Like, something may have happened, and then she was just poof, gone, and he couldn't find her. And that when all of the Second Coalition stuff went down, he was already joined up to Team Avalon's, because we still don't know where this time gap happens. Where we see that he's been hanging out with her, he's in the G3 colors, and then that battle happens, and then now all of a sudden he's Team Avalon, and we know she's gone, or will be gone. So if he had this secret L-Diver friend, and now he's on the team that's trying to get rid of L-Divers, like somebody else said earlier, like he let Riku go so that he could save his L-Diver when he knew that his own would get wiped out. So that's another story. Yeah, the Great Purge, so to speak. Hiruto is the real bad guy. Rodimus discovered the dark secret of ReRise. But yeah, I think they're implying that somehow she got deleted before she could get to a body, before they even knew that was an option. Because you got to remember, they tried it out with Sarah, and they probably didn't do the reset until they found as many L-Divers as they could. So there's probably something we're going to get out there. So they probably discovered more before they did the reset.
And if I remember correctly, when they were doing the transfer thing for Sarah, there was a question about whether or not it would even work. Like there was
they didn't know.
There was like a 2% chance it could actually do what it was supposed to, and then like a 98% chance it could just make everything worse.
Well, it's either not going to work and everything's going to fail anyways, or it's going to work and we can fix this. That's really what it came down to. So, but the problem was where she was going, things were breaking. So like getting her out made a difference, but there's probably dozens of L-Divers that have no effect on the servers at all. They're just there. But the fact that she could affect the actual world around her with her powers, and especially combined with Riku and his will and the 00 Sky, and they could fix some of the broken things, but they were also being blamed because all the bad things were happening around her emotions too. So,
right.
Yeah. Becoming more of a person would give her the balance that she needs to control her own abilities. So that's kind of what they got to. So Hinata leaves, asks his mom to look after his bruise because he's hurt, and he, of course, didn't bother to stop in to talk to anybody on the way out. And then he sets the picture face down. So somehow he got more depressed after discovering that Mai was an L-Diver, and I don't necessarily understand that. Like all of a sudden he's given up when he's been trying. I mean, maybe it was that discussion of the 87 or whatever, but like he would have known that info already, knowledge at this point.
I mean, it was like it feels like this is like something that would have been mentioned in like a news story or something like that. They seem to be proud of the fact that we've recovered all these new life forms here, yada yada.
Yeah. Definitely needed some positive press after all of that negative stuff. They literally said the admin wants to kill this new life form. Yeah, like that. So we set the picture down, and then Just the Guy attacks.
In stores now. Bug your parents.
In stores now. So the new Justy Guy, I believe what he called it, is like attacking rubble. So I like this. So we're back in the village again, and preparing for the festival, Kazami has decided to create this new cute and adorable petite guy version of his own Gunpla, which we already knew was coming. So no surprises there.
Yeah,
that would have been one of those things that would have been fun for them to hold back the kit until this episode instead of give us the kit and then we know. So I hate when they spoil it ahead of time because you're like, okay, now we're waiting to see when this comes in. It would have been fun to be like, okay, that's awesome. I hope they give us a kit, kind of like they did with Mai. And so they're clearing out the canyon that was blocked all the way back in episode 2, their second mission where they had to defend the village. Because now they actually need that pathway now.
Plus, Kazami's taking responsibility. At least that's how it felt to me. Like he's actually he admits that they're the reason it's blocked up, so we're gonna go clear it out for you guys. Which that's some nice growth for Kazami there.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, hold on. Maybe he's more depressed because Mai is opening up a wound, so to speak. Maybe. He's saying that he quit GBN for a long time. Yeah, that makes sense. Only got back at the start of the series. Kazami invented the swing. I'm getting there. Kazami went from douchebag to super wholesome, and I love it. He's still kind of a douchebag because he keeps
Yeah.
trying to interrupt things as we cover sometime soon. He has his moments where he's completely involved and happy and doing things and acting like a real person, and then he turns into a dickhead, and it's weird. It's like his character development. He takes 2 steps back like halfway through his character development every time. So they're clearing out the rocks, and I love the fact the villagers keep pointing out the strange new Gunpla, and then they hear him talk, and they're like, "We know that voice." So they keep explaining it's a new Gunpla. We can do that.
I just love how nobody seems to recognize that it's him, and even when he's talking, they're like, "Wait, who is that?"
Yeah. I like that Jed or Lionel walks up and he's like, I'm looking at it and he's like, "Oh, that's a great idea." Because it's all cute. Basically, make the enemy drop their guard, thinking it's not powerful. And then he's like, "Dude, he didn't build it for battle. He built it literally just to be a goof." I even wrote down, "This isn't a battle."
Yeah.
And then we get the new definition of festival, which is everyone doing road construction together. Because it's like everybody says we're doing festival prep. Oh, we're just clearing a road. Oh, is that what a festival is? Because she still doesn't know. And you got to think that hanging out with Maggie at some point, she would have learned what a party is.
Yeah, this is something that bugs me a little bit. It's a trope that I've seen before where like you'll have a character and then suddenly they're revealed to be a robot or something like that. And then after the reveal, they like suddenly double down on the
Extra
not
robot
human
behavior.
aspect.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, she would know better than that.
Well, being someone who is only hanging out with other people probably like her, probably sticking around the main original Build Divers crew, that the support crew at least, and then not really interacting with real humans in a real world situation, she might have never known what the word festival actually was.
Maybe.
Like a party, a get together, something like that, maybe. But I mean, it's still foreign to her. We also don't know when she came about. We're
Fair
just
enough.
assuming that was right after Sarah because we see the same setup with the same people, but it could have been fairly recently. We don't know how old she is.
True.
We
Okay,
know that,
I will give you that.
but we know that she knows how to battle, but she's never been a part of a team in such a way. So she's still new to the world to a degree. So who knows? And you got to remember, they basically have no knowledge of anything. They're like infants that are intelligent. That's the only thing. They don't know anything, but they have functionality of an adult. And then they finally come to the realization that the world doesn't reset after a mission is over. Damage that is done, including filling in with rocks, the old bits of stuff, such as, I don't know, the one eyes that got buried in rocks are still there. Everything stays the same as the mission goes on. Even as they complete that stage of the mission, nothing changes. Everything stays exactly what happened. The only thing that does change is them. They can heal up and repair their Gunpla. They even talk about finding the shield that Hiruto used to protect the farm. But Kazami actually brings up a good point for once. And he said, we could literally multiply our weaponry this way. It's like foreshadowing of potential later on down the line. But the one thing we have not seen them do is fail a mission. They've succeeded everything so far.
Yeah.
But in theory, since nothing ever changes and anything they leave behind stays, they could literally log in, bring weapons, stock up, like leave them, leave, come back, bring the same weapons, leave them, because it's all digital to them, but it's still staying behind as a physical object. Duplicate farming. Yep, every good game has it. Yep.
Yeah, they even refer to it as like an infinite item glitch or something like that.
Literally, yeah. The previous series characters haven't aged when May was born. It's kind of hard to tell because those people were already adults. Adults don't necessarily change. Before the reveal, May was already acting like a robot. She was like, yeah, she was acting like it. We know how much time has gone by. We don't know how long ago May existed. That's what I was kidding. May works for Amazon, confirmed. That's funny. There's a festival on like every other street in my city. That's funny. May was being abnormally curious about Hiruto's expression to the point where she kept staring at him initially in episode 8. That's true. She really was. But she was also studying why he never reacted to things, why he wasn't happy. She was the robot is the one who pointed out that he was acting like a robot.
Yes.
That other quote unquote digital life forms had more emotional depth than him. We covered that last time. But I like this. Maya comes up and she's commenting on how fast it's going. Like, I can't believe you cleared this so quickly. And Freddy just goes, yeah, we're using Gunpla. Makes everything better, which is realistically the truth for these people. And I love that she goes, well, hey, will that help with getting the plaza set up or clean? And Kazami's like, I'm already tired. I've already been doing this. And then like I love her reaction. She like does that squint, like, huh? Who is that? Like, I love that. And then, once again, she doesn't even know. How do they not recognize that it looks just like the Justice Knight, except like a teddy bear? Or, well, actually, I never thought about the fact he's basically making a furry version of his knight to blend in with the furry village. So is that why he did it? Like, because he wants to blend in? Then we jump to the actual festival goings on, and we see the sacred beast covered in flowers and all the things, and strung up with, well, not really lights because they don't have electricity, but just all the things. And as brought up earlier, Kazami builds a swing set using the core Gundam of all things. Like, he's like, I'm not going to do it to my own Gundam. I'll do the core Gundam, turn it into a swing, and shows the kids how to use it, which I thought was really cool. And then I like the fact Par even brings up that he's actually relaxing and he's having fun and doing all these other things, where like half the time he's complaining about the interactions with these people, and now he's purposely going out and having fun with them. But I gotta wonder, is it because he thinks it's a mission that he needs to complete, or is he actually relaxing and having fun?
I think he's actually having fun.
Yeah.
He seems to be getting into it, and like, I mean, he puts the little girl on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And he invents the swing for them and stuff like that, and tries to get the kid who desperately wants to go into the battle and get killed. Get them to lighten up and go on a swing and have fun.
Yeah. So. Gets Stola on the swing, gets May on this, or Maya on the swing. I keep misspelling her name, so that's why I keep saying May. And then Par brought that up, and then also brings in, hey, it would have been fun to log in with a different look for the party. Gee, I wonder if that's going to come up later. So there's a lot of things so far that have come up in this episode that is literally like, oh, that's foreshadowing. Yes. So this is a point that you brought up. So the flag that he's holding, or the banner. So the Jufti guy is holding up a big old banner. It's got an ocean. It's got a big fish jumping out of it, and a big Japanese style sun, and some printing on it. We can't really quite read it. Well, I couldn't read it anyways. It's not in English, but you know. But you brought up the idea that there's a lot of fishmongers and people like that who would have a very similar style.
So this makes me think that, particularly with some of the things that we've heard him say, that he is either, his family are fishermen, or they're fishmongers, or perhaps some sort of combination of the two. And that's why he knows how to prepare fish like he did, and why he talks the way he does about some of the stuff with fishing and stuff like that, and why he busts out this giant flag that is very distinctive during a festival time, like one would do if they were running a food booth or something like that.
I have an alternate idea, but I wanted to address this real quick. So Seed 4212 said, so the furry NPC are all electronic life forms too. That is what we've been hinting at all alive, and when they may not be divers, but they're probably electronic life forms. But you've been talking about the idea that maybe he was a fisherman due to his knowledge and skills, and now he busts out this banner. My idea was maybe it was in a celebration of the fact that they just quote unquote conquered the sea in the last episode. And it might just be like a winning banner type deal. But I mean, if we get more background on them, which I feel like they tease us with a lot of background information on these real people, and then they don't give it to us. We still don't know what Par's issue is.
Yeah.
And so we're learning a lot more about everybody else at this point, but we're not getting these other characters at this point. But that was my idea there. And then, of course, we jump into the nighttime, and he starts firing off fireworks, which is scaring the crap out of the people who have been in battle. So he gives a little PTSD flashback to Freddy. He falls over. And then as somebody... Yes, he did. He did yell something about being a man of the sea. Now, somebody... Oh, that's right. That's a Peacock Smasher from Crossbones to launch like the most ridiculous firework thing. So he built a custom version of that just to do that. So if this is... You got to wonder if in this universe, Gundam Build Fighters is a thing. Because we know it's not the same universe, but is Gundam Build Fighters a series that exists in this universe? Is that the one from the Full Cloth? That version of it. I just want to know, just interesting idea, that in these universes where other Gundam universes do exist as a fiction, does Build Fighters exist in this fiction?
Because we do know in Build Fighters, they acknowledge the existence of Beginning G because I think Reggie builds the Beginning G.
Yeah, in that universe, Beginning G existed in there.
Whether or not it was the kit like anybody else could get in the real world, or it was something to acknowledge the real life Beginning G or something like that.
Well, because both of these universes acknowledge that Gunpla and Gundam series are a thing, and if this is another stage of that, then in theory, Build Fighters as a series is fiction in this universe. We just haven't gotten there. But it will be cool if they actually reference that. We've yet to see anything because I think they still want to try to tie the two together. But I'd rather this one be like the next level of meta. Okay, where am I? Oh, okay, yeah. So we get some festival livery going on, and I like that they set up a slide going down the back of the Valkyrie lander so the kids could slide down that. So they really are giving them like real world experience that they wouldn't have. Oh, this is actually where Maya and Stola do the slide. And then Hiroto's sitting there watching the fireworks and the people, and May walks up to him and brings up the idea that Stola has, I keep saying like a Russian name, Stola has a nice smile, you know, and ask what kind of situation make a kid like that want to be a combatant. And, you know, it's like this whole child soldier situation that generally comes up in Gundam. But he's like, he's one of the older kids. He's still a kid, and he wants to fight to help protect his people, but his older brother doesn't want to let him because he's like, no, you're a kid, you should not be in this battle. And he keeps trying to run him by going to Kazami and everything like that. We've seen it time and time again here, but here you actually got to see him being a kid and having fun, you know. And for some reason that stuck out to May. Like, he has a nice smile, but every time we interact with him, he's very, you know, dour and all this stuff like that. And then Hiroto says, you know, we're both really into this story mission.
Yeah.
Like it's really blank, feels on his bruise. I assume he meant to say real. Like, you know, because he realizes he got hurt in the game and it translated to real life, has not brought this up to anyone else. Like, the other thing is, did he just wonk his head on the counter in the actual thing, you know? Like, is there a dent in the helmet he uses?
But yeah, May notices that and she reacts like, it's like, okay, something weird is going on here because that shouldn't happen.
Yeah. And the fact that, it's been, well, I guess it was kind of like right after, probably the next day is when he went in for the festival. And he still has the bruise in the game and in real life. But then Freddy runs up, grabs them, and now we get the nice moment of we get the medal awarding, sort of. So the village wants to thank the divers for their help. I know they've got the I forgot to write down his name, but the leader, and then we got old. I love this eldest of our village, Jirik. The old guy. I love this. He's like, you don't have to keep pointing that out. Like, you don't have to keep calling me the oldest. He's like, I'm an old man, but I'm still young at heart. I love that. I do like the young at heart old guy characters. Those are always fun to me.
Yeah.
And he like really thanks them, and he basically directing at Hiroto, the sprouts that you helped protect are now growing big and strong because you were there and you helped, and it actually kind of takes Hiroto back a little bit. Like, he's just like, like, okay, wow. Like he actually feels something. It's like the others, especially Kazami, isn't really, he's just in the thing. And this is when they award everybody their own little Gunpla, or what I would call probably Mudpla. So they've made their own little carvings or sculptures of their different Gunpla, and they go to give it to everybody. And then I love that the leader gives Kazami the wrong one. He's like, oh, this is the wrong. He's clearly got Maize in his hand, and then Maya runs up to give him the proper one. Sorry about that. And he barely touches her fingers, and like, oh, blushing. Yes, they had shut up. They had to go there. I mean, I called it last episode with the way he was acting. Like, no, I'm not going to do it for her. Shut up! You're falling in love with her because she picks on you. She's the strong female character that stands up to him and gives him bullshit. Therefore, he will fall in love with her because he's the egotistical dumbass. So that's just the way it works. It's called tropes.
I think they're adorable together.
She's not real, man. But he's definitely falling for her, and he knows he's feeling it, so he gets awkward about it. It's really funny. I like that, he doesn't get it, stuff like that. And then she tells him the kids made it for them, and he turns to him and is like, hey, great work. You guys will all be great builders one day if you're going to build like this already. And which that means a lot to them because builder / creator, it's the same thing for them.
Basically saying, hey, you guys will be like gods.
Digital waifu. Oh god. Digital waifu for a digital waifu. Hate you. Jirik still looks like he could beat up multiple people in a fight. Yeah. Yeah, I do know the thing about the crossbones. But I like that Par is like so overwhelmed, like, basically like, I'm just a noob. I don't deserve this. Despite all the work he's really done and the bonding he's done with the kids, and he's got the sacred beast, which we sort of lean into a little bit with this episode, a little more background on the religion, which is weird to talk about the digital religion in a game. And then May, it's just like, what am I supposed to do with this? What is the point of this supply that they gave me, And then like just staring at it, it clicks in her head. It's a gift, And I thought that was a nice moment, nice humanizing moment for the robot.
Yeah, and I love how she, takes it and kind of holds it closer to herself. I was like, because at first it's like she doesn't get it, and then she does, and it's touching.
Yeah. So Ryan is trying to associate things to
SAO.
SAO. Sword Art Online was. Told you I made that pink lemonade too strong. My brain is dying. And by the way, guys, for those keeping track of the amount of notes, 6 pages this week. Because it was 5.5 last week. We've actually gone up. But I like that idea that May was confused, but then she gets it. And then I don't know if she looks at Hiroto or the camera just zooms over to him. And he's looking at it, and he's got like the normal crap face he's got on. And then he actually turns it into a flat smile. So like for a brief second, Hiruto actually feels some happiness again. You could tell. Like, it's just like, whoa. Now, I watched this first thing Thursday morning because, it comes out at 5 a.m., like right after I get up. And I'm watching it, I was like, oh, he smiled. Like, literally, like, but I thought that, like, everybody got to have a nice emotional moment tied to this. So we do a little bit more montage, just brief, and then Hiruto's leaving. Like he does, he always leaves.
Yep.
Walks past Stola and Freddy, and of course Stola still like same complaints. They need to let me battle. I need to get in there. I'm old enough, blah blah blah. And Freddy's like, you're still a kid. Now Freddy's younger than him, but Freddy's like the avatar. He's the one who is meant to be with the builders. And so he's like, look, you're still a kid. He's like, I'm not. I'm an adult. I forgot. I don't know how to pronounce that word. But in apostrophe G-A.
When I saw that, I was like, well, I was like, well, that's a dangerous word.
Not going to try to say that word. Also, it's weird. So basically, I think it's like beer or something in their digital world because he drinks it and he's like, wow. Just like it's
fermented
bitter. It tastes like
or something, maybe.
Something fermented. So he's trying to drink an adult drink when that's the point. And he struggles with it, like every kid who thinks he's something until he takes a drink of dad's beer and can't. Unlike me, who I've always liked beer. And at this point, I forgot who was the character. I think I was talking to Kazami or whatever, and somebody or a par, and he walks up with a lantern. It's lantern time.
Yep.
And then jumps up to Hiruto looking out over everything, and then he sees the lights walking. And then this gives us our nice exposition of the whole space crossing festival, which is supposed to honor those who died, but then also give thanks to their gods, either the sacred beast, the creators, or I forgot what the other thing was. I didn't write it down. But basically, go ahead.
I did write it down. The space crossing, an offering to the sacred beasts, ancestral spirits, and the precious souls. We give thanks to the beings that watch over us beyond time for letting us live our lives today. Which, if you think about them being programs, is a very interesting phrasing and way of thinking things.
Yeah. Oh, I like this. Ryan Walters says that Hiruto is a better written character than Kirito was. Somewhere in there. He gets better. Homie Freddy was sitting right on that pole. And Will Dudko. Oh, yeah, like the what juice? We're just going to call it lean, okay? He was sipping on lean. Okay, we're going to leave it at that.
It's a nice frothy glass of water.
Yeah. But I like that explanation. They're heading to the lake that was now blocked off. They had finally unblocked off. Stop buzzing at me. And so I like this explanation that they do have these religious beliefs. Like, it seemed ridiculous before because they're talking about the creators. They're talking about the builders. We see the temples. We see the buildings left behind. We see a lot of this stuff from the creators and people who lived long ago or whatever, as we've discussed. And like, if we think that the build divers or admins or whoever is involved in writing this for those people and the digital people, do they have a real sense of time? Like when they log out, this is what I want to see before this series ends. And hopefully when we get to the realization that they are real, I want to see them having a life without the divers being there.
I mean, I'm pretty much convinced that that's a thing, that when they log out, they're still going at things real time.
But then again, a game is programmed to, you get to this area, activates the scenes that you got to go through and the interactions you got to go through. And when you're not there, they just stop and they just cease to exist. At no point do they talk, like, it's either going to be the Doctor Who episode, Forest of the Dead, when Donna is in the simulation in the computer, and the kids start acknowledging that the world is broken, that they stop existing when she's not there. we either get that realization
Mm,
that like they mentioned that when they're not around, nothing exists, or we actually see them interacting without the divers even being there at all. And that's what I want, for the realization that they are real and that they do have a passage
right.
of time for however long they've been there. Obviously, probably like a year, maybe two. But we have to acknowledge that they're real for that to happen. I said I wrote down a lot of that, but okay, so it's basically like a lot of these other Asian lantern festivals, either the floating lanterns on the water or they let the flying ones go, except for this is a combination of both, which I actually
Yeah, I
really
thought that was
liked.
cool.
But so they let him out on the water, and then Stola runs up to confront Jed, and he's like, "You need to let me fight because I'm a little gray wolf person. I want to be useful," which I think that's why he mirrors Kazami, because he just wants to be useful. And I like
But
how
he's
everybody
doing
else
this
over
in the
here says
middle of the sacred ceremony when everybody's, being quiet and contemplating things.
he's been drinking.
Oh,
He's
I
been
didn't even think
drinking.
about that.
Yeah. I wonder if someone went missing with the mission and be suspended forever. Yeah, probably, because they acknowledge that they can't go in without all four of them. So if something happened to somebody in real life, the mission... No. Here's the thing. Not the mission pauses and suspends. The mission continues, but they're not there to help. That's the scary thought. Like, the resistance has to go on into another fight without them. And if we already know that the Seltsam exists as another diver who can also go in to accomplish things that we see off screen away from our divers, then it's a thing.
Bad news.
So he wants to be in the fight. Of course, Jed says no. He whines again. Jed says, "Look, I need someone to stay here and protect the village as well, not just be out there fighting with us." Because really, he's at this point, they're coming down to the last big mission, and they're going into freaking space. He's like, and he even mentions, like, "Look, we might be the next one to do the space crossing, but who will be here to do this if we're the ones who die? So we need someone to stay here to fight for the next people." Which, once again, if this comes up, like, everybody, all the battlers are gone, and then the village gets under attack again later, without the actual divers being there, that'll be interesting. And then once again, Kazami, finally being himself, starts saying, "Man, this is some really heavy dialogue for a cutscene." And then May cuts him off. Basically, shut up. It's the second time she's cut him off this episode, because he tried to say something in the last heavy moment. And she's
I
like,
have read
"Shut up."
like Kazami. I have read it like, "Kazami, stop being a prick."
Yeah. Freddy just summons them and they teleport. That would be funny. No, Freddy will be with them. We already know Freddy's with them in the next episode. What's the girl furry from the village called? The Lord me that Kazami like to drink. She drink what? None of that sentence made sense, Ryzarn. What's the girl furry from the village called? The Lord me. I'm assuming there's a big typo there. Oh my god, I can't type. Okay. Yeah, try that again. They don't have a choice. But hold on. I got to scroll back through the comments as I was talking. Okay, so then RIP furries. But they're forced to be transported to the mission. The thing is, we already know that they don't get transported to the mission. They have to go to the mission physically every time.
Because we think that they show up in that ancient temple and then they have to trek back to the village or wherever.
But he did say that a flag went up at the elevator, so maybe that means that's a new territory that they could start from, a new starting point. We don't know because we haven't seen that. We just made the assumption that they start near the village or at the previous base. But so far, they've shown them basically having to travel. They don't just teleport. The older female in the Curry village,
think he meant furry,
that made the drink that Kazami liked. The only other are you talking about Maya? Like the only female one that he's been interacting with? She's the only older female. I assume you mean Maya. But I like that whole thing there. But then that's when the lanterns pop. I always thought that, so it's like popcorn. They just pop open. But I like the science behind that it's finally built up enough heat that it expands and then it starts to go off. Now, if it left like the base behind, it would make sense to me in a physical way. But the whole thing flies away, which I think is really strange.
Yeah.
But it's really pretty. I think even Kazami says that at some point. It's really pretty.
Yeah. I think I've written down, it's like this entire scene is just, it's very beautifully animated, and the music for it is just amazing. That the sad piano going for it is just really, really nice.
Yeah, it's very nice music there. Raise Your Flag. No, we're not going into Raise Your Flag time. Too chill for Raise Your Flag. And yeah, the relationship between a lot of them is very vague, but Freddy, because Jed, Freddy, Maya, and Stola all seem to be related, except only 3 of them look alike, and then some of the younger kids. But then I like that Jed even mentions, like, look, okay, so this is actually when, okay, so I was getting ahead of myself. So Hiruto walks up, and then Jed comes over to talk to them, basically just keeps spilling his guts. He goes each one of them, basically thanking them, like, we could not do this without you. If you and your Gunpla weren't here, I would have to use Stola, or I'd have to use the other kids to fill in our ranks because we were getting our butts kicked. And he's like, no, actually, we would just be dead. Like, if you weren't here, we would have been wiped out by the One Eyes without you. You know, please keep lending us your support as we move on. And I can't do much, but I would like you to see some of the sites that we have, you know. And then the other people walk up. I like this. So the southern waterfalls, the western grasslands, the northern forest, the southern air temple. Sorry, I'm just going off on other things. But Milag Mountain, which is apparently a holy land to the east, the far east, because you got to mix it the far east, because the closer east doesn't count. But apparently in their religion, these souls that are sent into the space crossing return there. And nobody knows what happens, but apparently that's where they come down after going up. So, place of rebirth, perhaps?
Re-rising?
A re-rising, as it were.
Something that I noted is, at least to me, it felt like when they started describing all these other places, I think it felt like the other players that were listening to all this were like, this is describing a world that's a lot bigger than what you normally see in these kind of mission things. That there is a lot more to this story world than
it's map expansion. It's really what it is.
Yeah.
So, like, every time they unlock a new section as a current mission, but this seems to be the one you finish the final mission and you unlock the next giant parts of the map that, you know, we know
it's
about.
Like when you're playing Pokemon. It's like when you play Pokemon Gold and you finish Johto and get Kanto opened
you
up
get Kanto, and you can go back and explore all of Kanto again. Everybody's been talking about the symbolic death flag of Jed. Yeah, no kidding, Jed's gonna die. We either knew Jed was gonna die, his 2 morons, or Freddy. We always said, like, Freddy is going to be like the big change for them if he dies. Like, he's got to be like the ignition for something even bigger to happen.
Agreed.
But I like that. Yeah, no pressure. We'd just be dead without you. Ain't Jed the oldest furry? Jed's the oldest fighter and one of the major resistance connections. He's the oldest young person. We'll just say that. So I would guess he's in his 30s in relation, where everybody else is either teens or younger. Maya looks to be like in her 20s.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. What about the Western server racks? No,
ones that are on the other wall.
Yeah, I think GBN functions a lot like Skynet. It's just in every computer at this point, so there are no direct servers anymore.
I mean, they mentioned when they were talking about the Eldivers, they mentioned servers in the plural.
Oh, yeah. No, there's multiple servers throughout the world because it couldn't be in one place because it is a worldwide phenomenon. It's like YouTube. Oh, yeah, no Captain Xeon in this episode, which is fine, but it's like, I wonder if he'll make a slight return. It seems like we've gone a couple episodes without Captain Xeon, but we had several with Captain Xeon. But then they bring up that, hey, maybe the Gunpla can get to Mountain or Milag Mountain because nobody else has ever gone there. And they're like, he's like, ooh, I'd like to go in a Gunpla. If we make it there, will you take me with you? Yeah, definitely talking about how he's gonna die. They're gonna have to like take, or he's dead but doesn't disappear, and they try to take him to the mountain to get revived. Awkward pause much? What? You had nothing? It's like I figured you might have something to say there. Oh, now you.
No, sorry. I was thinking like I had a thought of like it's like let me just fill out this insurance policy before I go and tell you where my secret stuff is.
Oh yeah.
Just raise all the death flags.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, he's gonna be the lock on of ReRise. Maybe.
So he'll have a twin brother.
No, I think if anybody's going to be the lock on, it's going to be May. May's going to sacrifice herself to save her human teammates, and then we'll have to have another Diver come back. Or May dies, and then they're like, maybe she'll be reset at the mountain. Because we don't know what happens to an Diver when they die. That conversation's coming. So he shakes Hiruto's hand. And then we get lantern porn for the next like minute. I really like the fact that they're rolling over the closing credits completely with actual scenes. I love that. It makes me feel like it's not a wasted episode. That out of the 26 minutes, actually less, I think 23 minutes, we're getting like a full like 22 minutes out of it. You know?
Truth be told, though, I was expecting Seltzam to suddenly show up and start blowing things up or something like that. Because
I'm so happy. I'm so happy they didn't do it because that was my response. I was like, Seltzam would pop in right now, but I think it's been made.
Also, they were having a moment, and every time they have a moment, Seltzam's like, "Surprise! I'm going to blow you up now."
Yeah, but I guess it's been their moment, not a village moment, because seemingly it attacks when the village is clear. When the base was clear, it showed up. When no other villagers were around, it showed up. It did wipe out a lot of resistance already, which we've seen, but has not attacked the main village. The only thing that ever did that was that one one eye army. I'm calling them 2 eyes now. But of course that ends. It comes down. We get Hiruto looking at the lake, and May's sort of nearby, and there's one lantern that just didn't go. It's not lit up. It didn't go anywhere. Heavy symbolism.
No, that's just there to look pretty. There's no symbolism there about, being left behind and feeling dark and empty inside.
I'm going to go have a cast iron hand made for situations like this. So I can literally bring it in. Here's the heavy hand. Because clearly we've used a lot of it in this situation. And then that's, of course, the conversation, what happens to an Diver when they disappear? Do they die? And if they do, can they ever come back? Heavy symbolism. And she says, I don't know. Because why would she know? She's only been alive. She hasn't been a dead Diver yet. It's like, you're asking the wrong people. Ask the people who saved them. Go with her to talk to Maggie. It's like this is where she needs to be like, and of course she does ask him. It's like the reason what you're looking for, is it an Diver? No answer to the question. Because we're the audience.
That's when we get next episode.
Next episode. So do Divers dream of electric horrors? I don't even know what that means. Seltzam got that feels radar.
It's the play on. It's like, do robots dream of electric sheep or something like that?
Oh,
Android dream.
Yeah, that's right. Electronic sheep. That's right. I feel that deaths are different now. If they don't damage out, they get hurt in real life. Obviously, we already know that real damage is now translating to the real world, which means they're much like build fighters, they're assimilating into the game. But only Hiruto has felt that so far. The others, not so much. So, we'll see what happens in the future, because nobody else has taken physical damage in the game but hopefully it will. We'll get to see something like that. But what happens when an L diver damages out? it's like that's got to be weird for them, because it's their own digital representation of their body being shut down.
Mm-hmm.
For them, that must really be like waking up from a dream inside of a dream. Because they're waking up from a digital existence to go back to a semi-digital existence, still in a plastic body. It's freaking weird. That's one thing about the electronic life forms. But all right, preview for next time. Next time on Heavy Handed Theater. So the space elevator ride, and they're doing it right. They're doing the vertical stacking, not the horizontals. So, or I'm sorry, they're doing the perpendicular stacking versus the parallel stacking, which totally makes sense. That's how you get artificial gravity. That's what The Expanse does, apparently, versus every other sci-fi show ever. We get the white armor, which is clearly some type of space armor. And we'll finally get its name, since it's been tentative for so long.
Which is really weird that they showed it off, but they haven't given the name of it. Like, why?
Yeah. Okay, so here's the idea. It's like, if the damage is translating into the real world, when will somebody actually die? You're assuming no one has. White armor, spoiler alert. So we saw the decked out Valkylander. I wonder if we're getting a real type. No, if the Valkylander is decked out, it's the Rex armor that we've already seen. Which makes sense, because they're packing in. They know, somehow they know that this is the last battle. Like, why would they just know that, okay, this is the end? Why wouldn't this just be the next big step? Because now we're going into space. So we even get
that sense of going into space, that it's the last mission or something.
Yeah, it's like, that's a weird thing. Unless there's a prompt, we stopped getting game prompts. Did you notice that? Like, we don't get the clear screens anymore. We're not seeing, oh, hey, here's the next thing. We're not getting any of that anymore. We're just seeing them live it. I think the idea is they're taking away the gameness of it for some reason. And they said, okay, the final boss waiting at the top. That's our big question. And then it's actually called Last Mission. It's not the last mission. It's like, it's not the last mission, because they wouldn't set up the foreshadowing of, hey, we need to go to Mount Milag after this. It's like, so it might be the last boss fight. But it's definitely not the last thing they're gonna do. And then we see the pink data person again. We did not see the Cell Sam, I don't believe. I don't believe we saw. We know they're in a battle of some sort, because we see Freddy and Hiruto running down the hallway in red whatever. So we know they're gonna battle something. Presumably a lot more One Eyes we haven't seen before. So if there's any other space things that the Death Army can do. Which, by the way, I think I looked up the aquatic Death Army thing that the Ray came from last time. Yeah, this is a major change. That thing looks stupid.
It does. I'm not gonna lie. Death Marine, I think it was called, or something like that, is a silly design.
They read the script for the next episode and knew it was the final mission. Okay. Last boss, 2 Cell Sams. It's 2 Cell Sams. No, last mission, end of epilogue of the season. I mean, like, we already know it's a full series, so it's not the end. They haven't given us anything to work with. We know it's going to be a full season. So is it a season break, or is it just the next step? Somebody gets kidnapped, somebody dies, the next reason to move on happens. We know this.
Well, I'm thinking it's going to be kind of like how, if you looked at season 1 of Build Divers, there are like 2 story arcs, basically, because you have like the initial stuff,
and like
then you have
seasons. Yeah,
you have like they're playing the game, and then you have the where actual stakes happen because of the stuff with Sarah.
Yeah, so they changed the focus of the series, but I think the focus isn't going to change so much as they get the real answer to what's going on. So whoever this person is, who seems to be an admin of some sort, is a very similar setup to the game. What was he called? Game Master. but not a Gunpla person. It's just a pink, which we see a little bit more of. No hair, not really any, like, looks male-ish, but we don't know. And presumably is watching over a lot of things happening in this mission or this world.
Yeah, because it's got all the screens and stuff.
Got all the screens. Back to the original cast. Oh, God. But this might be the revelation of at least what they're fighting for, where the One Eyes come from, where we find out that whether they're a virus or a system set up by the admin to wipe out L-divers they don't want to happen. What's happening with this mission? All the things that we've basically been trying to figure out since the episodes began. But could the pink data person be another L-diver that's evil?
I could see that.
Malevolent.
And we do see that this was a detail that I noticed when they were talking about the it was 87 that are known to exist. They show all these different silhouettes, and not all of them are female. Some of them are very
there's some males. Yeah.
male.
Now that was a question we brought up last week: was are they only female? And now we know they're not. Now the question is, do we recognize any of those silhouettes? I didn't write it down or didn't get a screenshot. I was like, what are the odds that some of those silhouettes are similar to people we already know? Mega L diver. Okay. The admin must be a cute SD Gundam, so he's probably not. Well, he's not a game master. He could still be an admin. That dude chooses to be represented by that particular SD Gundam.
I still love that is such a deep cut that the game masters that specific SD Gundam, because that's not just any SD Gundam, that is a Gundam from, or an SD Gundam from Superior Defender Gundam, which is this weird SD Gundam series that came out in like I think it was the early 2000s or something.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. Somebody's gonna die. Some puppy person will probably die or be on the verge of death.
Yeah, see how brave the story writers are.
Well, my thought, I keep wondering this. Are any of the resistance going with them other than Freddy? Because we didn't see them. Now, we know they've obviously done missions together, but they didn't go on the last mission for the underwater mission. They were just trying to escape the last one. So they talk about going up there, but are they going to go? And if so, where are they going to get spacesuits unless they're inside?
There could be spacesuits inside the facility. The Silver Tower, was it called?
Yeah, the Silver Tower, yeah. Obviously, every time they get into a new relic left behind by the creators, there's more stuff that they use. So we'll see what happens. Then again, we don't know if they don't have like spacesuits or normal suits already, because we already know they got weapons and stuff, but no reason to use them if they're on the ground. Watch Sacred Beast become Superior Defender. Or Sacred Beast be from Superior Defender. That'd be funny. They had mouths under their face masks. I remember that. Feather Dragon will die. The Feather Dragon. I assume you just mean Valkylander. I keep getting freaking notifications. I don't know. I think somebody will die. There has to be a catalyst for the next part of the season. Big reveal of bad guy. We've already got a big reveal of good guy. So either we get the name of the pilot of the Seltsam, because I feel like that's going to continue to be a problem. Like, it's not over yet. There hasn't been a defeat of it, and I don't want to see it come out and just be wiped out in the next episode, because they have not upgraded that much, even with having an L diver on their side.
So we won't see the next armor for Core Gundam, and it sounded like somebody said it looked like Valkylander has the Rex parts.
That was me. Well, somebody said that it had some parts. I didn't look at it, but I can real quick. Hold on. I want to see why my phone has been Oh, that's funny. I got it. Oh, one of those was the email notification of us going live. Gotta love that. I was like, this video has gone live on your channel. No kidding. I was there for that. All right, let me jump ahead.
Soul Zero would be a cool name for an armor.
Yeah, I saw it. I think Soul 1 or something like that would have been cool. Okay. Yes. He's got. Hold on. I don't know. I gotta turn things off. Give me a second. You can see upgrades for sure.
Here, I can't see the screen.
Yeah, you're gonna have to turn that. Oh yeah, I don't have autofocus.
Okay, on. Yeah, because he's got the stuff off to the side too.
Hold on. I'll turn off autofocus. Yeah, so he's got a separate dragon, which we know that he wants his Rex upgrades are all Avalanche XCF parts.
Yeah, because he's got the big shoulder things too, like the Avalanche, right?
Well, he's got dual dragon heads, which is new. The extra dragon parts are there, which I don't mind looking at this the hard way. I already can look up those parts. Let me go look. So let me go to talk amongst yourselves. You read comments while I'm looking things up.
I will read comments.
Oh, coincidentally, I go right to the Gunpla.
Should be the Valkylanders Avalanche Army debut. Yeah.
Yeah, we just said that.
The Feather Dragon from Ryan Walters says about it's like I meant the Feather Dragon from Superior Defender. It merged with Zero to basically make him Endless Waltz Wing Zero. I think I vaguely remember that. That would be interesting.
Okay, so the main issue with the... Yep, that's what those are. Okay. It is the Avalanche Rex parts, because the shoulders and everything are there. So he should have an extra sword as well, which is probably like one of the extra dragon heads. Stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely... Oh yeah, you can tell the shoulders. You're right. Those are the Avalanche shoulders. So I like that he has a whole extra dragon part, so to speak. But does Justice Knight have any new add-ons? I couldn't tell. It looks like he's just normal. I don't even see any extra parts to him.
I don't even remember there being any sort of add-ons for him advertised recently, because we've seen the stuff we've seen the white armor, we've seen the Rex parts, but
he looks exactly the same. Like even the backpack's the same. There's a lot of detail on him, but in this shot, but you know, we got the whatever this space armor is going to be.
They could maybe do the thing where if you guys look at my review of Justice Knight, he can combine the backpack, the shield, and the lance together to make its own little flying unit thing. Maybe that's something that happens in the series. In the episode.
I did just notice something.
What's that?
There's another kit with them. What is that?
Isn't that the Earth 3 armor?
I don't think so. It's definitely another armor, but look how flat and low it is. It has like a bird head on the front.
Well, that's what the
Is that what the Earth armor looks like? We rarely see it in flight form.
Here, let me pop off the because I have the it's the same piece for all of them. See if I can get it in frame.
No, I mean, we know it's definitely an armor, but the question is, which one is it? I mean, it could be the Earth armor.
There we go. It's focused now. So yeah, it's one of the armor flyer things, and it's blue, which is the color for it's that particular shade of blue.
But it also has big white. It has big white wings.
Yeah, it has white wings.
Well, you know, it'd be useful if you actually showed us.
Do I have them here? Where did I put them?
Stop taking things to work.
Oh wait, no, I didn't take him to work yet. But
okay.
I was trying to remember where I put them.
I didn't actually watch the episode. It could be. Hold on. So I'm looking comparison-wise here.
And where's the box for the dumb thing?
Watch Justice Knight just get another Just get another Lance. That's funny. Use a Bolt Gundam as a base release. The V-fin looks crazy different. But see, that's what's funny. Like, because he normally has Earth, and we never see it as a flyer separately.
There we go. Found the box.
Okay, stop. Well, aim it correctly so I can see.
I'm trying.
Try harder. Perspective, it's hard to tell, but it makes sense if it is. Yeah, because it looks like either way. Okay, so he's taking the Earth armor plus whatever white armor is. So you just got to stay with that.
Which that makes a little bit of sense because that's kind of been his strategies to have wear one armor, have another one on standby, so you can have an extra unit flying around doing the thing. Well,
at some point, I think he'll just like bring in a bunch of them, have everybody else fly around on them, or just build a giant multi-armor transportation device like a Power Ranger. Like, oh, we have a carrier Zord. It's just one thing, but it carries all 6. I just launch them when I want them.
I would be totally down for that because that's dumb in all the right ways.
Yeah, that is a okay. So he was bringing out the wings look definitely bigger than the standard one, but then again, in space, wings are pointless. So
and the V-fin does look crazy different. I will give you that.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's always good to have good teasers. I'm trying to analyze like the rifle, see if there's anything major about that. Doesn't look like anything too crazy. Just big beam rifle, but he does have the 2 different arm shields that also look like they're miniature guns. So those are things. That's pretty cool. Actually, let me go see. I'm gonna go look at if there's any good images of that white armor.
There should be. I remember seeing them.
I must find them. I'm looking on Big Bad Toy Store.
If not, their Gundam kit collection should have something.
No.
No?
No, I said yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay.
I hate going to their website because, like if you don't have ad blocker turned off on their website, it's a freaking mess.
Oh yeah.
Where is it? I know it's here somewhere. Oh, New Main mobile suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just not hide that. It's the new one. Okay, so we got big cannon, forearm cannons, lots of thrusters, a beam shield emitter that can float about. 2 beam shield emitters. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like some kind of beam pile thingies. You know, like you can punch somebody with an energy beam. And a large arm mounted thingy. Can't tell if it's a cannon or not. It's kind of blocked up. It does look like it has like full Burnian style thrusters, but kind of hard to tell. That's what they look like.
I remember seeing there was like a picture where it showed like the pods on the back of the ship mode can be posed in 2 different ways or something.
Yeah, but he has 2 of them, so they're very full Burnian. Like, so we'll see exactly what it looks like. Core Gundam kind of looks like the same one, but it says it's been renewed with some molding colors, so some parts of it are slightly different than others. But we'll see. Okay, so you've got 2 different Core Gundams currently.
Yes.
Are they exactly the same, just different colors?
Exactly the same, different colors.
Okay. What do we got here? Sailor Moon Gundam. Yeah, there we go. I bet they're going to do a p-bandai of all of this Psi. He meant systems. He just didn't get there. His carrier Zord, just all Tupperware taped together, some V-fins thrown on it. J6. So we're going to go with J6 mobile carrier. Like if he really wanted to cheat, he could just have like a asteroid belt that just a bunch of smaller ones that he can control, like funnels.
That would actually be kind of cool.
Asteroid armor. And like it's all bulky and kind of black, and then it just ejects like 24 smaller things to just hover around him. Oh my god, that'd be so cool. That's Bandai. Bandai. Let's Bandai. Hold on. Wait. Bandai.
Oh.
Bandai. Do it. Do it.
Be like Belt Infinite.
Yes, that'd be so funny. If Hiroto can bring multiple armor flyers, it makes me wonder at the limitation of the Gunpla login scanner. It seems to be 2. It seems like he can't go beyond 2 because he can go with the one he flies in on. So if he goes in with 1, it's like core Gundam flyer. But if he dresses the armor, he can bring in another flyer. So it seems like he's limited to 2. And Kazami didn't bring in more than the 1. He brought in the Justy guy, but he didn't bring in Justice Knight, which I thought was weird. I don't know why he couldn't bring in both. But I guess because it couldn't be seen as a support vehicle, which we know you can do. So that's what he does. So the armors are coming in as a support add-on. But if that was the case,
we must have lost the backpack thing to make it so that way you could have the petite guy on the back of Justice Knight.
Oh yeah. Ultimate Justice Knight. He throws the Justy guy at people like as a weapon. Imagine House Party Protocol, but it's Hiroto's version. Just they all fly in. Except he's only got the 1 core, so like he would have to create multiple cores and throw other people in them. He doesn't have a Jarvis. Oh, Jesus Christ.
There would be like when Tony was going from armor to armor during the last scene of Iron Man 3.
Yeah, or he just keeps popping out of one, destroys one, grabs the next one. Well, we sort of did that already, so I guess he's probably going to pull that off, but he'd have the planetary carrier with an asteroid launch system. That would be cool. As long as it looks like the Ptolemy. That's all that matters. Just needs to look like the Ptolemy. Best carrier ever. Fight me. Best carrier ship ever. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. It's been a fun one, but this was a good episode, good chill episode. Last episode was all about battles. And nice celebration episode. Nice getting to know the character, seeing them be a little bit more, and actually having a nice deep episode. Like nothing last season was remotely as deep as this. Like there was like the emotional stuff, but you're also seeing it from like a kid's point of view, so you only take it so seriously. Even when they're fighting for the rights of a new living being, was not anywhere near as deep as this episode was in dealing with character stuff.
It really feels like there are stakes that are stakes to be had in the current thing, and stakes that were had before the series ever started.
Yeah, so we coming in with existing storyline and building upon it versus starting with an existing storyline that we know nothing about in like the first season. So we know things happen. GBN existed. People have been in here forever. We're just following a kid who's new to it. That was Pokemon. You know, it was, here's my first Pokemon. Let's just go. This episode is definitely not that, and I appreciate it. Much more grown up. Feels like it has real stakes, like you said, kind of like Build Fighters did. Even Build Fighters Try had more stakes, but you know, people don't want to admit it, but it did. But overall, you know, I went into this season. Here we are, almost at the halfway mark, and I'm enjoying it. I'm liking the characters, whereas 6 episodes ago, I was so angry at Par's character development or lack thereof, and just being so pissed off that the stupid little fox person couldn't get his shit together because he was a lying little bastard. And it's like, stop lying. Like, it's just this is coming down to a trope that's in so many stories. If people could learn to just tell the truth and be honest about stuff that's going on in their tiny corner, they would see how big it's connected, and they could solve their issues a lot quicker. Like, but because they don't want to open up, they don't want to reveal anything about themselves. Everything gets held back. So, I mean, it's not like May could just go around. I'm an L-diver. I'm an L-diver. Did you know I'm an L-diver? I bet there's cocky ones out there. There has to be cocky L-divers somewhere. Like, treat me different because I'm an L-diver. Where's my free shit? I want reparations for the purge.
I'm
sorry
betting,
I said all that, but it's got to be a thing.
I'm betting in the story arc 2 of this season, we're going to see more Divers and see what they're like and how they interact with people.
They're gonna have to rise up.
I would be very surprised if we didn't get anything like that.
Well, maybe that's the rise. The
Eldivers re-rise up.
They're gonna re-rise up. Or like I said, maybe it's a resurrection thing, and the whole thing is they found a way to bring back a dead Eldiver. That the entire series is Hiroto just trying to bring back Eve. I hope one of the armies is armors is just CeraVe. It scrolled up. It docks the core Gundam's head like a hat. No. I like this so much better than the other one in the story. It's been a fun podcast. Yes, it has. The Noi Who Cried Seltsam. Did you watch the promotion for G40? No. I might eventually if I feel like it. It's been great storytelling, more questions than answers. I would like a couple more answers about the backstories of people, because if they go this entire fucking season without telling us what happened to Par, I'm going to be so mad. It's like, I don't care what else happens. I'm like, why was Par scared of flying? That's all I want to know. Where's the manga explaining that? I will read that manga. I wonder
that's going to be his story arc for the second half of the story.
Weeb Jesus. Weeb Jesus. I wonder if May ever thought Hiroto was an Eldiver. Oh, yeah, maybe she thought he was an Eldiver.
That could explain why she's been so intrigued and interested by him.
Yeah, what happened? What happened to the dad? He goes in the other room. These people live in this apartment and they function only in this apartment. When you don't see someone, just assume they're in the other room, because that's what we've been shown. Mom's in the office doing work. Dad's in the office doing work. If they're all at the table together, it's actually I think the only time everybody went together, it was Mom, Dad, and Hinata, and Hiroto was in the game. And that's when he got the idea to go do something else. It's the only time we see most of the characters in one shot. And we assume that Hinata is like next door, right down the hall, or whatever, because we know she lives in the same building, bare minimum. Turns out Par was raised by dragons. No. We're not going fairy tale on this.
But imagine dragons. And I get kicked off.
So radioactive. Bye, guys. Have a good week. I've got a lot of boxes to deliver this week. Look forward to next weekend. We'll be able to do it. And hopefully he's the one who's going to be doing the read through, and I get to sit around and make comments and build things. I'm challenging him to do the main review because he needs to grow. He's raised by the band. Jesus Christ. He's just there to bang the drum. Gong. When people leave the room, they stop existing. Just waiting for IMA. No. Where do you go when I'm not? Or why do you go where I can't follow? What show was that where somebody's daydreaming and the person who like worships him is like, where do you go where I can't follow? Oh my God, both worlds interact like a game, with each of his parents only interacting with him when it's required. I've already said the real world is starting to act like a video game, and the game is starting to act like real life. If GBN is real, the real world is fiction. They're not logging out, they're logging in. Yeah, no, it's too meta. It's too meta. It's the Matrix, goddammit. But guys, like, subscribe, do all things. Go subscribe to him because he's the one doing all the Build Divers reviews. If for some reason you can't find the link for his shit, it's always in my front page of my channel. Or just search RODIMUS13 shelf space. Shelf space. That's how you type. Or like this. Just do this. Just and see what happens. But guys, remember, as always, to keep on building and to keep on nerding, and to always
and I'll see you
screw up your outro.
I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.
He's not in the shelf space anymore.